If you've seen Christopher Nolan's space epic Interstellar, you probably think you're a pretty cool guy. Well, hold your fucking horses, you ass blaster, cause you're wrong. Here's a fun fact. Interstellar is actually a found footage movie that Christopher Nolan butchered to hide the truth. Why would he do something like that? Well, at the center of this conspiracy lies one man, Michael Caine, a master seductress. I'm here to reveal the truth and tell the real story of Interstellar. It all starts when average corn muncher Matthew McConaughey feels something weird in his jimmies. He removes his jimmies and dust blasts his house. His pet, Muppet, comes because of the dust, but he ignores her and writes numbers. The dust speaks to Matt and tells him to abandon his family and start a new life as a corn cruncher. The corn muncher turned cruncher gets all rustled when he sees that his least favorite pet, Meatguam, is munching at his special corn stash. He yells at her and then gets on with his life. Dust gets in his eyes and he stops at the trees to see if they can direct him to the joys of his childhood, but all he gets is a face full of sardonic treely wickedness.
Her body is a paraphilic love map.
How's that?
Matthew McConaughey wakes up because he feels the presence of Michael Caine. Michael Caine tells him, "Matt, you're here because of my dust. I controlled the dust and made the dust bring you here. Now the dust rules you and you are mine." Matthew McConaughey likes the dust, so he agrees. Michael Caine then seduces him with his dusty arms and reveals his evil plot to McConaughey. All will be covered in dust. The world will be but dust. The dust rules all. You must go to the world of dust to gather dust so that all may be covered in its sandy dust. Do not make me cry, Matthew McConaughey, for a wet eye yields no dust. Michael Caine sends Matthew McConaughey into space along with his greatest experiment, Anne Hathaway, who he made out of dust. Sensing McConaughey's lust, she duplicates her form and morphs into hairy men with big strong muscles. Muscles bigger than a fucking elephant's. This makes Matthew McConaughey pee his pants in excitement. Anne Hathaway then realizes that she's forgotten her favorite lunchbox, and so sneaks a dusty finger into Matthew McConaughey, making him splash the ship into the South China Sea. The materialistic Dust Anne flees to retrieve this object in which she has placed too much value, but the wet place makes her dusty composition all clumpy, and Matthew McConaughey cries because he has dust in his eyes. Spacesuit-wearing dog, Tars, goes to fetch Anne Hath, but her dusty form vaporizes in his arms, so he barks, then goes away. Fortunately, the Dusty Anne's clones survived the wetness, and Anne makes herself a new form, superior in every way to the old one. Michael Caine, furious over the delay, makes waves to punish McConaughey, then reflexively recites a poem. Matthew cries because he has displeased Michael Caine. Matt plays a game of space chess with an incomprehensible other-dimensional being and loses $300. Matt cries because he knows his opponent has cheated, but he understands that it is more out of desperation than malice, for the being owes Christopher Nolan money. Matt once owed Christopher Nolan some money, but that's a story for another time. Matt finds the world of dust, but is disappointed by how little corn there is. Good thing he brought his special corn stash. But uh-oh, looks like Dog Tars ate it all. McConaughey is forced to put Tars down, knowing that corn is a dog's worst friend. Christopher Nolan smiles off camera, liking the way the dog dies. Behind a rock, Matt Damon the trickster ravenously consumes dust. He was once like McConaughey, serving the will of Michael Caine, but read a poem that made him despise the elderly. Michael Douglas knew this, so he told Damon that he couldn't have apples, then left him to the dust.
How do you like them apples?
Damon plots revenge, but Dusty Anne has other plans. In what is easily the film's most emotional sequence, she embraces Damon, but Damon's emotions have been replaced by dust and she turns into an oyster, the most ambivalent creature on Earth. McConaughey does not cry, for oysters are a symbol of joy. Damon steals a plane belonging to a friendly couple from Spain, although they are happy, knowing that Damon will probably only use it for good, and begin to come to terms with the fact that they will die in this dusty wasteland. The husband decides that it is better to die in dust than live in the clouds, while his wife constructs a hostel, although no rooms are booked and she lives an unfulfilled life, knitting and looking at windows. Damon flies his plane so gracefully that he almost rips his fucking dick off from his own goddamn excitement, but he receives a dusty reminder. Planes are not apples, and he flies into a rage. Michael Caine smiles deviously from his thought chamber, having warped the young Damon's mind towards the path of fists and snakes. But fate has love, so it makes Damon and the plane into one. The Damon Plane symbiosis returns to the path of dust and music and rides the cosmic waves to Michael Caine's evil space headquarters. McConaughey and Oyster Ann shout slander and dirtiness at Damon, but his is a heart of pure gelatinous, pickled dustiness, unable to feel shame. He enters the dusting chamber and prepares to do a dance of destruction and end it all. But he doesn't, and is blasted into space. Michael Caine speaks to McConaughey across time and space, across good and evil, across the dusty expanse of all creation. He tells Matt that he is proud of him, and that he has grown from a vile corn muncher into the luminous corn supreme. McConaughey makes water from his eyes and purifies the souls of all those who like dust. And even though he is only a crispy corpse, Damon is moved and realizes that he is dust, and this lives his friends with
Alright. That's what I love about these high school girls. I get older, they stay the same. I'm gonna find a way to tell Murph, just like I found this moment.
How, Cooper?
The love Tars love.